It is the end of a news media era. Well, I'm going to talk about that, but first, hi, my name is Jacob Berry. Welcome to my vidcast where I talk about all things pop culture, including the press, which is the topic of today. But before I dive into it, be sure to like this video, leave me a comment, share it out to all your friends, and of course, subscribe. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscriptions, and every single click of that sub button really helps me out. I'm over 900, so I'm almost there, and I can't do it without you. So thank you. All right. So, when I was a kid growing up in the 90s, everyone talked about CNN. CNN, one of the first 24/7 news networks, blasted all over. It was originally owned by Ted Turner. Later, it was bought by Warner Brothers, what now Warner Brothers Discovery, who still owns it to this day. Although I've heard they've been trying to dump it. Anyway, neither here nor there. And then a man named Robert Murdoch exploded on the scene with Fox News. It was meant to be a counter with what many people perceived as a media bias in places like CNN, NBC News, ABC, CBS, all these big name corporations that tended to have a very obvious left wing stance, very pro Democrat Party, and whatnot. With Fox News, they actually didn't just bring on liberal commentators like Alan Holmes, Alan Combs, to speak, or guys like Bob Beckel or Geraldo Rivera. All of these sort of liberal guys. They actually brought on conservatives. Their original lineup featured Bill O'Reilly, who is now with a different organization now, left after a scandal. I don't need to get onto that. And it was all piloted by Roger Ailes, who was brought down by his own massive scandal. Sean Hannity, of course, he was the co-host with Combs, Hannity and Combs. Now he has his own show, which I think is just called Hannity. And it's really interesting to see how Fox News dominated. They were the voice of conservative news for a long time. They would have on not just you know Republicans, they would have on conservatives, people that were sort of independent voices for it. They were one of the few stations that would still have on Rush Limbaugh to commentate and whatnot with Fox. And like I said, it was all spearheaded by a guy named Robert Murdoch, an Australian who came to America to pursue the American dream, and boy, did he ever. And turns out Murdoch is ready to retire. And this is not rumor. This is not speculation. He has officially announced that he is retiring from the news. This is huge. Robert Murdoch, who, like I said, he came over here, he started Fox. He eventually sold the production version of Fox to the Walt Disney Company, of course, and he turned around and used their money to buy Tubi and Shout Factory, which gave him new streaming opportunities. And when Roger Ailes left, he and his son sort of stepped in to run the day-to-day. And now he is retiring. His son is going to take over. And as evidence, I'm actually reading from Fox News, which has his full statement and whatnot. So this is what it says. Murdoch, 92, informed colleagues in a letter Thursday of his decision, noting that he was in good health. He will officially make the transition in November, and his son Lachlan will become the sole chairman of both companies, which mean Fox Corporation and News Corp, which is the parent company. This is beginning his statement. I am writing to let you all know that I've decided to transition to the role of chairman emeritus at Fox News. For my entire professional life, I have been engaged daily with news and ideas, and that will not change. But the time is right for me to take on different roles, knowing that we have truly talented teams and a passionate principled leader in Lachlan, who will become sole chairman of both companies. Neither excessive pride nor false humility are admirable qualities, but I am truly proud of what we have achieved collectively through the decades, and I owe much to my colleagues, whose contributions to our success have sometimes been unseen outside the company, but are deeply appreciated. Whether the truck drivers distributing our papers, the cleaners who toil when we have left the office, the assistants who support us, or the skilled operators behind the camera, or the computer code, we would be less successful and have less positive impact on society without your day-to-day dedication. Our companies are in robust health, as am I. Our opportunities far exceed our commercial challenges. We have every reason to be optimistic about the coming years. I certainly am, and plan to be here to participate in them. Wow, that is incredible. And like I said, the only reason I'm bringing this up is this is the end of an era. Really, when Roger Ailes left, it was already the end of an era. Roger Ailes was he ran Fox News, as like a very tight ship. No pun intended there, but it's true. And when he left, you definitely saw a shift in the narrative. Before, Fox News was kind of giving voice to all conservatives. They were sort of having not just the mainstream Republicans or kind of the approved voices. They would also have people who were more on the fringe, more on the outside, or guys like me who are more, populist conservatives. But now it seems like ever since Ailes left, they've very shifted that narrative away from those fringe, independent, and populist voices and brought in more just of the mainstream, Republican-approved voices in conservative. And now that's, like I said, a few have talked about this, but honestly, I think that the firing of Tucker Carlson earlier this year, I think this had a big impact on that. I think that you saw as soon as Tucker, who was their biggest prime time commentator, when he left and he launched his solo show on X, formerly Twitter, that's when you really saw the change happen. And also, we don't even really know why Tucker was fired. Now, Tucker says he was fired. I mean, they showed up to his house and dismantled the studio that he had. They say, oh, no, we just canceled his show, but he was still an employee, and I guess they're suing each other. Whatever the case might be. I think that's really foolish. Just let him do his own thing and prove him wrong. But, that's not how it works in showbiz. And let me tell you, the press is showbiz. I think that this decision from Murdoch to step down, and for his son, who is, his son's, and there was a movie about the Roger Ailes scandal, where John Lithgow played Ailes, and it highlighted the scandal and talked about the instances with Megyn Kelly and things like that. They were portraying his sons as like these hero guys, but that was fiction. And his sons, I have no personal thing, but let's be real, they're not in it to make the news fair and balanced again. They are going to make it more like old school CNN, and eventually it will become more like modern CNN. It's going to kind of shift more and more away from the conservative voice to the moderate voice, which just means watered down liberalism, then finally to like a more sort of Clinton-esque liberalism, and then it's going to go full on socialist communist, just like all these other news outlets have. They're going to suffer in the ratings. We've already seen how other smaller conservative networks, ever since the firing of Tucker, and even kind of before that, places like Newsmax and Real America's Voice, One American News, they're starting to rise up as that alternative voice to the mainstream media. Now, I have friends who work at Fox News, and I really hope that this doesn't affect their jobs. I hope that they keep doing what they're doing very well, and that hopefully maybe, and I hope I'm wrong, by the way. I just am speculating based on what I know about the situation and seeing the narrative shift of Fox already. And, I hope I'm wrong. I hope that Lachlan, when he steps in, he's going to go, okay, we're going to get back to the basics of what made Fox News, the number one cable news network. Whatever the case may be, I think that the news industry is going to be rocked by this. We're going to see a huge shift in the polarity and the news media. I honestly think as a result of this, I'm not saying Fox News will get worse, but I think the mainstream media, what some people call the corporate press, is going to get worse and worse, where it'll be like England and Canada, where dissident voices are going to be not denied press passes. They're going to refuse to be licensed, which, in my opinion, you shouldn't have to be licensed to be a journalist. It's in the First Amendment. Shouldn't have to be licensed at all. Shouldn't need a press pass. To prove that I'm not saying places shouldn't distribute press passes, but I'm saying you shouldn't have to have a press pass to prove your press. You should just be able to say, hey, I'm so-and-so, here's my business card, I'm with this outlet, and I'm here to cover this. And leave it up to the places that they're covering whether they're going to talk to them or not. That's my opinion. I know it's not shared by a lot of people, including maybe by some people who are watching this video. Whatever the case may be, I hope you enjoyed this double feature. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. What do you think of Fox News from the 90s and the early 2000s? What do you think about Fox News now? And what do you think? Do you think I'm wrong? Do you think that a shift won't happen? That'll just be business as usual? Whatever the case may be, I do love hearing from all of you, even if I disagree with you. And I wonder, how will the news industry change as a result of this decision? Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you'll give it a thumbs up, that you'll leave me a comment, tell me what you think, that you'll share it out with your friends, and of course, consider subscribing to StudioJake. I cover all kinds of nerd and pop culture topics, including film, television, anime, comic books, and so much more. I hope that you'll also head over to my main website, StudioJakeMedia.com, where I have even more news, views, and commentary. Also, if you'd like to support the channel, head over to my locals page. That's studiojakemedia.locals.com. It's the best way to support me. I'm trying to build a little community there. I have exclusive reviews and articles, so definitely head over there and check it out. And I'll see you next time right here on Studio Jake.